now we have Barrister Paul Ananaba son, who is joining us to speak on the CJ and passing out. Thank you so much for being part of the news at this time.
Thank you.
All right, so Justice Olukayodariwola bows out of service after the mandatory age of 70 years as a Chief Justice of Nigeria. Now, how much do you know of him and his contribution in the legal profession?
Justice Olukayodariwola has made a huge contribution to the judiciary. After appearing before him when he was the Justice of the Court of Appeal and severally at the Supreme Court. He's done so much within the last 2 years that he's been CJN, and while he was Justice of the Supreme Court, very humble and jovial and principled. So I'm happy that he's leaving the Supreme Court as the Chief Justice without blemish. You could say that he's still emphasizing the independence of the judiciary, and he is still committed to progress in the judiciary, particularly at the Supreme Court.
Okay.
Except you know the type of challenge he would have had, you will not understand. In the last 1 year, at the Supreme Court, over 1,124 cases were filed within 1 year in the Supreme Court alone. And what do you expect the Supreme Court to do? 89 of those cases are appeals that came for judicial cases. Those are the issues. You can see him talking about technology, and finally, the Supreme Court he inherited, it was still applying the 1985 Supreme Court rules. And all that was being done in the past was to have practice direction to take care of certain issues in the judiciary. Those practice directions became too numerous that sometimes it became difficult to know which one is applicable. But just so Arewola, not minding that he was leaving today, they signed the new Supreme Court rules 2024. And I'm happy for his tenure. I wish him well. I wish his family well. And I wish Justice Kekere could have been coming in as a new CJN at the best. Justice Aluwola has set the pace, and I believe that Justice Kekere will improve on the achievements tremendously to ensure that now that judicial officers are where their salaries have increased, age is increased, that justice will flow like a stream.
All right, so now speaking on the judiciary as a whole, there have been calls for judicial reform here and there. What's your take on this call for reform?
Sure, our judiciary needs reform. No one is in doubt about that. And prior to the reform, the two important things, which is independence of the judiciary and their remuneration, has been improved upon. You will recall that there's a 300% increase in the salary. That's what it should be. A judicial officer should be well remunerated. Judges should be well paid. Now, what we should look at is the slow pace of the judiciary. Technology should be relied on heavily. I don't see why in non-contentious cases, why we cannot have electronic hearing. We don't need to We don't need to be physically in court every time. That increases the problem of quick dispensation of justice. Like, submissions can be made. Some of the some of the proceedings do not require physical appearance. Submissions can be made and rulings can be made by the court, and much more. Our non-judicial officers, we have always concentrated on the judges, but the support staff, the bailiffs, the registrars, the clerks need to be looked at now. Their condition needs to be improved upon and they need to work. If we add that to applying technology and our judges emphasizing integrity, competence, and depth of knowledge, even beginning from the appointment of judges, then we will make the headlines as some of the best as well as we have, as we were many years back. And again, I will close by saying that I everything is safe. The Attorney General of the Federation is a distinguished legal practitioner that knows what to do, and I believe in doing them. With that, I'm just grateful as CJN, and from where Justice Ariwola is living, I look forward to the best from our judiciary.
All right. So lastly, Barrister, before I let you go, what are those gray areas in the legal jurisprudence you expected some changes that never came, but needed change to better reposition the profession?
One of them is the fact that many cases that ought to stop at the Court of Appeal are going to the Supreme Court. It's a time to put a stop to them. Landlord tenant matters, chieftaincy matters, boundary and local boundary issues, customary law. They don't need to go to the Supreme Court. I have always advocated, and I reiterate it, that the 6 geopolitical zones should have their regional Supreme Court and Court of Appeal. Some of these cases should terminate at those points, except cases that have national significance. Those are the only cases that should go to the Supreme Court. Look at the last 1 year. 1,124 cases filed in the Supreme Court. How will the Supreme Court deliver quality justice and judgment in those cases? So these are the areas that I expected that ought to happen and that they did not happen. I think we should take them up now.
All right, so thank you so much, Barrister Paul Ananaba. He's a senior advocate of Nigeria. Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thank you.